Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It's 9 o'clock on a Sunday, which means it's time for a review show special. This is where I take a deep dive into a particular product or creator or magic dealer, and I kind of really look at it from every single possible angle. And this week we're going to be looking at Cognito by Murphy's Magic and Lloyd Barnes and Owen Garfield. Now, Cognito has been setting the magic world on storm. You always know that that's the case when there's a huge thread on the cafe. I think we're on to page 10 already, and it's not even being released. I'm filming this on Thursday, and as of the time of filming right now, the trailer still isn't even live. I think it goes live this evening, but that hasn't stopped a lot of people talking about what Cognito is and what Cognito isn't. And I've been reading the Magic Cafe because there's a huge thread on the Magic Cafe, and I wanted to see what they were saying. And a lot of people have already decided it's not a great app based on nothing, because a lot of people haven't even got it yet. And the people that have got it, I don't think everyone's like watched the tutorial properly. So there's a lot with this app. Now, I was actually lucky enough to see this many months ago. This is something that Lloyd showed to me right in its infancy, and as he was developing it and as he was coming up with ideas for it, he was actually showing it me, and I was blown away at the concept. Now, if you've seen the ad copy, you'll know there's a quote right there which says the best app of all time, Craig Petty. And you know what? I gave Lloyd that quote. He said to me, I'd like a quote. And I said, you know what, Lloyd, this is the quote I'm going to give you. Let's keep it short and simple, the best app of all time. And I genuinely think that this is the best app of all time. Now, I know apps. I use a lot of apps. I use more apps than most. And I'm a big fan of lots of different people that create apps. I mean, you might have seen my interview with Mark Kirstein recently. I've done a review show special on one of his apps. I'm doing another review show special on Mark's apps. Mark's apps are brilliant. The Stranger is absolutely brilliant. There's some amazing apps out there. I still think that Cognito has changed the game in many different ways. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to give it a full review right now so you can see exactly what I think about it. Obviously, it's an unbiased review. You know from the quote that I gave it, I think it's brilliant, but I'm going to tell you why I think it's brilliant, because I think a lot of people that have watched this, they think it's a one-trick pony. They think it's literally just a card trick, and it's just kind of a very simple card trick with a card reveal. But there's a lot more to it than that. There's some concepts within this app that I think will become standard features in a lot of apps moving forwards. And that's one of the reasons why I think that this is the best app of all time. Plus, it's super commercial and there's so many different things you can do with it. But as with most review show specials, the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to swing things over to an interview that I did with Lloyd. Lloyd is incredibly busy. He's in the creative team at Murphy's Magic. He's a very difficult man to get hold of, but I managed to tie him down for a little bit. I did an interview with him, and I asked him all the questions that everybody is asking me about this app. I spoke to him about everything. So we're going to start off with this interview with Lloyd. Okay, so I'm going to play this interview with you. You can see exactly what Lloyd had to say about the development of the app, what it does, what it doesn't do. And then we're going to bring things back into the studio, and I'm going to give this whole thing a roundup and give it a review and talk about what I actually think of it. Okay, I am here with the Wonder Man himself, Lloyd Barnes, the person that everybody is talking about, the most creative person on the planet, and now the person who has brought out, and this has been quoted on the packaging before, so I'm going to say it again, the best app ever created. I am, of course, talking about Cognito. Lloyd, how you doing, man?
I'm good, thank you.
It's true, though. Like, Cognito... No, it is.
I'm biased.
I know you're the sort of person that doesn't like taking compliments. So take this. Cognito is incredible. I'm telling you right now. Cognito. I was there kind of early on. You were showing it to me. And, we were together at Smoke and Mirrors in Bristol, and you were showing me live. It's unbelievable. Like, it's crazy good.
Thank you. Yes.
It really is. Like, this is going to be a slightly different review show special, mainly because I feel kind of biased because I've already given my opinion on it. So the review is going to be good, but I want people to understand why it's good. Because I read the cafe a little while ago, and a few people were like doing what they do on the cafe and bitching and moaning. So I want to kind of break through all of that. And if we can talk about the app, I mean, let's start at the beginning. You've got a lot of experience with apps, haven't you? You know what you're doing with apps.
I can't code them, which is annoying. But I've released 2 apps, and I have a bunch, this one and a few. But yeah, I think Cypher, when you look at the numbers, is the best-selling magic app of all time. Next to like the Spider one, but it's best-selling magic-focused app of all time, which is kind of crazy. And yeah, so that was like 2017, I think, or 2016 when I created it.
And then obviously, this is not just, obviously this is one of your first things that you've brought out since leaving Illusionist.
The first thing, yeah.
Which is a big deal anyway, because obviously I know you've got about 15, 20 different things that you're working on at various stages of development. But this is the first thing that's like gone and been brought out under your name. But also, as well as that, it's the first app that's been brought out through Murphy's Magic directly, isn't it? Which is a big deal. Like, it's a big deal.
Yeah. It's been crazy because Murphy's are a wholesaler. So normally they have you make a product as a wholesaler, you give it to the stores like Vanishing Ink, Penguin, Mind Effect, and then they sell it. With an app, if it was in the App Store, because there's no way that you can distribute a wholesale app in the App Store without cutting away the dealer. So October, I think it was last Sunday was the 365th day that we started on it, so it's been over a year and all these ropes and process, and I had to get like quite pushy with Murphy's to say this app is not being sold unless it can be distributed digitally, because what they wanted to do was sell it on leaflets like they did with like Inject and other apps. So you'd purchase it and then a week later you get the leaflet in the mail, and then you could sign up. And I just think it's the worst process. I can't think of a worse process even to purchase an app in my life. So like literally very long nights and quite hard discussion saying, I'm not releasing it if you do not do this. And I had to put my foot down, but the team are amazing and said, okay, like whatever you want, like we'll do it. Just tell us how. And I said, well, I don't know.
And now the framework's in place. So when you have other apps coming out, and I know you have other ideas for apps, and obviously there's going to be other people as well, you have the framework in place now. So this won't be an issue anymore moving forward, will it?
No, that's it. This framework is there now. So whether you create your own app and you want to wholesale it through Murphy's, sell it to us or come to us, we'll create it for you, all my own stuff. Then it's up and running. And obviously a few teething problems this last couple of days, but they've all seemed to be flushed away. And actually, I'm saying this is going to come out on Sunday, isn't it? So by the time you watch this, it's up and running smoothly.
Fantastic. Because it got released on Friday, didn't it? So it got released like 2 days ago. We're obviously
Thursday, Friday, UK time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Super exciting. So there's a lot of conjecture about what this app actually is. And the reason is because of your marketing campaign, which has been
campaign.
Right. Nobody has a clue what it is. Everyone's guessing.
Yeah.
But this has been a very unique, fresh approach to marketing and magic products.
Right.
Was this done on purpose?
No, this is kind of this is the thing that's caught me off guard the most. I'd love to take credit for it and say it was a genius marketing campaign. It's not though. Genuinely, we looked at, there's a few things you can do to get beta testers. One is to go to your friends, but as much as they can like break the app and find the bugs, you don't really get like the honest feedback.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a few ways you can go about getting beta testers. One is to put like a post on the Magic Cafe but like you can make Google Docs. But I figured like the most accessible way was to make a Facebook group and then have people join the Facebook group and you can sort of vet people. And we didn't want the beta testers just to be like, you go. I wanted to spend time with each one. So there was 11 beta testers in total. And each one I spoke to, I got an agreement from them that they weren't going to reveal it, back and forth. But that process took a couple of days. And by the time we got to like day 3, the group had grown to, I think, like 750 members. And it was like, whoa. And I know people were going crazy in there. Like, and some people were saying it's disgusting that only 0.5% of people were chosen. But it was kind of like, well, what's the word? Like the entitlement, like just because you apply doesn't mean you were going to get picked. Yeah. It was open to everyone. And we said we were going to choose 10. We actually chose 11. And the thing is, 5 people said then, oh, Lloyd's only choosing his friends, which is entirely true.
I didn't get chosen.
I know. Yeah, you only got the app yesterday. Yeah, no. So, but it's not true. There was people like Michael Murray who I had pass-ins with. I remember I wanted to purchase some product from him while I was at another company like 3 years ago, and we've spoken at Blackpool maybe once. Like I don't know Michael Murray, or I didn't until the beta process. Some people from other countries that I just literally had no idea, but I looked them up when they applied, and I thought, this person is going to really be able to road test it. And the process worked perfectly, because by doing it that way, by opening it to everyone, not choosing friends, and choosing people that look like, or it seemed that we're going to be quite thorough with it, that it turned the app. It literally, I thought the app was good, and I had no idea how much further it had to go, and it was all thanks to the beta testers. So it panned out perfectly. It just so happened to be that it's like before the launch. We're filming this on a Wednesday. This got on a Friday. There's 1,300 members in the group already, or 1,400.
So let's talk about what the app is, because as I say, a lot of people are questioning and trying to work out what it is and what it isn't. Could you kind of synopsisize us and talk about what the app?
I'll talk about anything. Now that it's out there, I don't mind even exposing it. But in short, the app is a way for you to learn information. So the spectator will think of something, and then what is obviously the phone has to come into play. Mm-hmm. But essentially they do nothing, and you can know exactly what it is. And there's other features in there as well, like the ways to reveal it and how to learn that information without ever peeking it or anything happening. But that's essentially what it is. Now, there's a difference. We talk about this a lot, and you see this in the trailer, that laymen say that nothing, he did nothing, he didn't do anything. And I've seen one person say that this is too process heavy, and obviously like they haven't watched the instructions and they're doing it wrong. But I can understand what their point is, but it's hard to really go through it. There is a process, right? It's not real magic, but there's 2 different types of processes. I feel processes which don't feel like a process. It's just happening and it feels normal. And there's a process for a trick like Cypher, where you have to input, say you want to reveal someone or peek someone's PIN number. They put their PIN number in, and so you do an effect, right? So this is Cypher. So hey, take this calculator, input your PIN number, input your date of birth, times it by the month you were born, press equals. Here's the reveal. That's my toxic force, and then I can peek the information, right? That process is part of the trick. So the trick is like, we're about to begin. What we need to do is take my calculator, put the numbers in. So that process, if you broke that down into a pick a card routine, that would essentially be the moment where they select the card, right? So select the card, which is their information, their PIN number, losing it back into the deck is inputting it and timing it all up. And then shuffling it and whatever is the equals part where it reveals, where you finally reveal the card they chose, right? So the process of that, if you broke it down to a card trick, is the selection part of the trick. The process for this, when done correctly, if it was a card trick, it would be talking about a card trick before you take the cards out of the box, before you have the card selected. So the process, for example, in the trailer, people will see, now the way it's done in the trailer, obviously for the trailer, the routine has to be quick and snappy. So it's an uncut performance. But what you would normally do is the process, it's not really, the process would happen, and then you would carry on doing, you just forget about it for a while, do something else, either a trick or just talk to them and come back. And that's why laymen believe there's nothing, you don't do anything. Whereas opposed like these calculator tricks and other stuff, laymen can reflect on it and will say, and I've been out, I've seen these trailers being filmed, I made half the tricks. They will say, well, I put my number in Then he revealed it. I can't believe it. And then he knew they will remember that process. But with this, for example, like the horoscope routine, you would chat about horoscopes, and there's an amazing idea by Michael Murray, and you say, oh, I think do you think they're BS, or do you think they're legit? And then someone will say yes or no. You say, like, the reason you can tell they're BS is because you can read any one of them and they should all really apply to you. Look, read a random horoscope. And they're like, and they say, look, does that apply to you? Like, you can see that if you read any random one, but not your own. So they read another random one, and you go, yeah, it kind of does appeal to me, but it can appeal to anyone. And that's it. That's the process. Done. Phone goes away. So like, they don't even read their horoscope. They don't look at their horoscope. They read a random one as like, just like, do you think they're BS? Like, read one of these random horoscopes. Oh yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's BS. Cool. That's the process. So, and it's kind of like, even with like the playing cards one, depending on which routine you use, on which like presentation you use, one of my favorite ways is that they see images of playing cards, but they don't even look at theirs. So if you say, like, think of a playing card, we're just going to like test your imagination, see how much of the detail of a playing card you can remember. Go look at an image and make sure your card's not in that image. So they don't look at their card in the image, and you say, perfect. Now just imagine your playing card centered right in amongst all the other ones. And they do that. You say, good. So you can see how you're testing, you're trying to pick up the imagination. Now look away and try and remember how many dots are on there, what color, what type of color it was, whatever it is, whatever spiel you want to use. And then it goes away. That's it. You can come back to that in an hour, a week, 10 minutes, whatever you want to do. But the process is more akin to discussing a card trick or discussing a coin trick. And then later on, you bring your coins out, or you bring your cards out, and then it is. So I can see some people say process, but it's all about magicians. If you hone your craft or try to, any trick can be made to look good, right? Yeah. And it's all about you as a performer and how confident you are in being relaxed when you present it. It's not, again, to say when you do like a cipher trick, it's like that's. Now the trick is beginning. Please put your number in. With a trick like Cognito, it's more about how covertly can you start a conversation with someone about something like horoscopes, random words, playing cards, and then be like, oh, out of interest, check that out. Oh, okay, put it away. Like, as long as you can come across as a relaxed human being, and you're just nonchalantly chatting about the subject, and can just seamlessly bring in that interesting thing, like, oh, we're talking about star signs, horoscopes, date of births. Oh, have you read today's horoscope for, you're not a Leo, are you? Okay, good. Read the random one for Leo today. Oh yeah, you see what I mean? And then as long as you can seamlessly just converse and bring up a topic that you're going to perform about, and that's all you really need to do.
Absolutely. And I totally agree with you 100%. The other thing is, I think that, because I read a couple of the reviews, but most people actually on the cafe are being really positive, but there's people that don't really, I don't think they've read I don't think they've followed the whole instructions, because it comes with an hour and 20-minute download. And I think that a lot of the people that are saying something negative, they're scratching the surface of what the app does, because you've got this basic routine, which is the chaos reveal, right? Which is the basic routine. That's probably only 5% of what this app can do.
Yeah, and the chaos reveal is mainly because, sorry.
No, go on.
Well, the chaos reveal is really good, and it gets crazy reactions.
When I showed it Ryland, he was like, what? Like, he just couldn't believe it. It took him a while. And then when he stepped back, he was like, he just kind of lost the ability to speak for a few seconds.
Well, the cool thing is, when you get Cognito in the download, you perform it on yourself. And that's why if you read the Facebook group, the amount of just, like, some guy said he nearly had a heart attack. Some people are filming their reactions. People are just, because it doesn't, even as a magician, it destroys them because they have no idea that it knows what it is. But the chaos reveal in there is kind of like, it's like the fun trick. That's what I think of it as, is the fun trick. The reveal is really good, and you can do any reveals you want. You can customize it however you want. But the juice is the peeking, because it's so far removed. To a spectator, it's very hard to describe. But basically, Cognito is a very different app to most apps, in that if you're going to learn information about a word someone's thinking of or a card someone's thinking of, they normally have to do something akin to looking at that card on the screen only, or tapping the card, or typing the name of it into a Google search, or XYZ processes where in some way, shape, or form, the card that they're thinking of or the word that they're thinking of comes out of their mind. Whether they write it down on paper, whether they do something. Most all apps, I say most, I can't think of any off the top of my head, and I'm sure I'll be proven wrong, but mostly all apps, that information inside their head, which you're going to attempt to mind read, they have to distribute it somehow.
Yeah.
And that was the biggest thing for me, is that this is why I believe that, I'm very proud of how, well, people call it revolutionary, is that when they think of their star sign or their playing card or a word, that word never come, or that playing card never ever leaves their head. They don't type it in anywhere. They don't write it down. They don't touch, they don't type, they don't blink, they don't whisper. When they look at the photos of playing cards, they make an active effort to not even look at their card. When they're reading their horoscopes, they make sure they don't even read their own horoscope, and it's not even on the screen. And they can choose from a bunch of different ones that are on the screen. They just don't read theirs. So the idea is that what they're thinking of from their point of view, they don't give it away in any way, shape, or form. And I think that's what's so powerful, it's what's so unique. And because this is based off an old principle, the core method is an old principle. And what we've done is add inputs and features that take this from, oh, it's a cute kid's trick or kid's principle you could get, to something very, very powerful. And the ways of like using timers to input it, proximity sensors that you wouldn't.
Exactly. And that's why I said that this is the greatest app ever made, because in my opinion, and this is only my opinion, but in my opinion, there's several things that have been put into this app that I think changed the game. And off the top of my head, the way that you input the information, you've changed the game in that. With the way that you're incorporating the timing input, and the way that you're using the proximity sensor to.
That was a Michael Murray idea, the proximity sensor.
Yeah, and it's just genius. Typical Michael Murray thinking. It's genius. Both the timer and the proximity in the use of this app is genius. Likewise, the way that you actually get the information.
This is the thing that.
Yeah.
This is the thing that I think will be most taken from this, not taken and stolen, I mean like possibly adapted in other ways, is peakless peaking. So if I describe this routine to anyone listening, this is truly what happens. So you meet a stranger, for example, so you genuinely know nothing about them. You start talking about horoscope, star signs, and you say to them, whatever you want to say, but you say, look, you know what, read some random ones to see how BS they are, right? So they read some random horoscopes and they lock your phone. And you say to them, there's no way I could know your star sign. There's no way I can meet you and instantly you know, without peeking on your watch, without peeking on your phone, and they have their phone on you. And there's a couple of methods taught in there in the peakless peaking section, which I think will set, well, I can already see in the Facebook group, it's gone like wildfire. One of them is, basically, Stephen Leithwaite has something called his cake principle from a project he put out years ago. And when I was talking to Michael Murray, he said you should contact Stephen Leithwaite about his cake principle. And me and Steve go back years. He came to stay with me in Wales.
You had to do one of his first projects, didn't you?
Yeah. So me and him are dear friends. And so I said, oh, Steve, I really want to use, Michael Murray suggested to call you about the peakless, this cake principle to use, which is essentially they literally read something or whatever they do on your phone. And when they finish, they lock it, they put it in their pocket or they put it on the table, whatever. And you literally know what they're thinking. So can I please use it? He said, yes, like absolutely. And I think in the back of my mind, when I released Cypher, we want to do a Cypher 2.0. And I think, you're inspired by something and you forget, because there was a feature that was built into Cypher 2.0, which is similar, but different in the same vein. But again, peakless peaking. And that was never got implemented because Cypher 2.0 never came out. But we also then put this into the app too. So you've got two methods, one where you can do it blindfolded or one where you can cover your ears. You can be in the next room. You don't need a watch on. You could literally be underwater and they know it. So the power of that routine is think of something. Don't tell me what it is. Don't even look at it. Don't even, look at something random, lock the phone, and you know exactly what they're thinking of. And especially if you do it with a slight time delay, at least, a bit of time misdirection. But even still, like the trailer, those are people who've just witnessed it being performed straight through. Like, do this. Here's what you're thinking. People just honestly, and they say it in the trailer. They did nothing. They have no idea because there's nothing that can give it away, as opposed to conventional apps where somehow the information is input, whether that information has to leave their head, whether it's through their fingertips, through their mouth, or something. They have to indicate their information. And then somehow the magician has to learn that information. So that might be with their eyes on the screen. And I'm not saying that with the Peakless peeking that you don't see the information, but normally that information would be delivered to you digitally, or through like a printer or something. Do you know what I mean? But with the Peakless peeking, like obviously it's using the Cognito app, but you're not peeking digitally. You're not peeking with electronics or technology.
Although there are methods built into the
a bunch. Yeah, it's got
do a normal peek. Just to let people know. I mean, and that's what I mean about this being a toolbox. You have methods on there where you can get them to do something, and at the end you can pick the information, and they can possibly think that you knew it. You have various different ways of doing this peakless peeking concept that Lloyd has come up with, where you don't look at the phone, you don't do anything, they never give it you back, and you have that information. And I think that's what's so clever about it, Lloyd. I really do. I think that's why it's such an amazing app, because it's not just a one-trick pony. And I think the people that aren't getting this are looking at it as just the chaos reveal. And there's so much more to it than the chaos reveal. And I've seen people go, well, what's the justification to go through the pictures and do this and this and this? Well, watch the download. There's so
you've got to
watch the download.
Christian Grace has just posted a video in the Facebook group and his justification and his routine. Have you seen it yet?
No.
Oh my God.
I'm a huge Christian Grace man, so
he's posted it for free in the Facebook group. I can't begin. I think you would. I genuinely think you would perform it. It's wild. And then Michael Murray.
Wrap this interview up because I want to go onto the Facebook group.
I'm not kidding. Actually, I think you should watch it. Michael Murray, me and him have been talking. Once he got it, we spent hours and hours on the phone, literally not talking about anything else. Like no hellos, how are you? Nothing family related, just ideas. And he's filmed a video on Mind Effects. So if you buy Cognito through Mind Effects, you get the free Michael Murray video with it. And he, like, I describe it as this. I looked at the app in black and white. And what Michael Murray does is look at it in Technicolor, makes it Technicolor. He has ways of doing forcing with it, which are wild. He has like things like ACANs, any card, any number concepts.
Okay, I'm going to answer this because I know that it's going to come up in the comments. If somebody's already bought this from another provider, is there a way of getting that information from Michael?
I believe he's given it for free to anyone that's already bought it.
There you go. Brilliant. I knew that I had to ask because I knew that was going to be a question when people hear that.
Yeah, just visit Mind Effects, Michael Murray's website. I believe it's .co.uk. Let me double check that. I don't want to give out the wrong one. It's Mind Effects.co.uk.
And also, by the way, one thing that we haven't mentioned, this is Apple and Android, which is unheard of with apps.
Yes, yeah. So we're working with an incredibly talented developer called Joshua Riley, and the framework in which he developed the app, it allows us to quite seamlessly make it for Android too.
Right.
So with very little change, it works for Android exactly the same way it works for iOS. And on that vein, I want to say as well, Joshua is insane, and I also. My co-creator on this is Owen Garfield. He actually lives in my town, and we were all next door neighbors. We lived directly across the road from each other. And I want to say that, like, this isn't all me. I came up with the core idea, and then talking to Owen, he brought it to life essentially by coding initially the way it works. the chaos reveal idea is Owen's idea, and a bunch of other stuff. Basically, he was the one that really drilled me to work out some good reasoning to bring your phone into play. All the reasoning and the scripting of how to just bring your phone out, how to do the process without them even realizing they're doing a process. Yeah. That was really Owen's input, which is the most important part of this, I think. And then Joshua has just worked morning, noon, and night and input things that I didn't even think of, like audio reveal. So if you have a Bluetooth headset, or if you have a Confederate or anything, like you do the effect and they just hear whatever someone's thinking straight away, and a bunch of inputs that are like he's put hidden Easter eggs in the app as well, so for people to find the hidden pumpkin, and just brilliant work from both. And like I feel like I've done a lot, but it wouldn't be this without them. And I just wanted to give them a massive shout out.
That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. I want to touch on one more point with the app before I let you go and I bring it back into the studio for a review, which is one of the things that excites me most about this app is the fact that you can create your own reveals and inputs. And already having just...
Well, you can't create your own input. You can create your own routine.
Yeah, you can create your own... Yeah, sorry, that's what I meant. You can create... Yeah.
Yeah. Super customizable.
Yeah, and that's such a powerful thing. I mean, already in the Facebook group, I've seen so many people come up...
Angelo Carbone has taken it and created it to look like it's on Instagram. So you just go through... So he says to everyone, oh, look at my Instagram. Go through these images and see if you see your card, or read the horoscope on my Instagram, or anyone's Instagram. And the beauty of it is, you can put that on your real Instagram, and there's no method to it on the Instagram for real. So they just do it really quickly. You say, oh, you can go to my Instagram and have a look. Works perfectly, looks completely normal. And that's Angelo Carbo's just share that idea completely for free in there. It's insane.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
There's so many other things, like I mentioned to you, if you've got a trade show, like I've got a trade show coming up in January, where they want me to do something with their products. So I'm just going to go and get them to send me one of every product they've got. And I'm going to create photos and everything. And I'm going to have it so that somebody thinks of a product. And I just think, oh, what an amazing way that you can actually, that's the thing that excites me the most.
It's so easy to do, and already people are sharing their routines in there as well, so you can import and export them now. So
I saw a really good one this morning, actually, about dreams or nightmares or something.
Yeah, I see that. It's so good. I forgive me for not saying the name. I apologize. Somebody created a Guess Who one this morning. I can show you what it looks like real quick. And I imported it. It's brilliant. It works perfectly, and I'm not going to share the whole justification of what I would use, but it's just so simple. It would just look like that. A game of Guess Who. They don't have to think of one off the screen. If they know the Guess Who characters, they can just think of one. And then that's, so as you go through.
What a great idea. What an amazing idea.
And you could have a physical deck of Guess Who cards, and then you can palm it off or steal it out. The beauty of it is you would do that as a precursor to getting the game out, right? So this is what people need to understand with the routine is that you can do it just back to back, right? Totally can. But if you just take the process one step away, even they forget it even happened. And you do this. You say, I had some photos of a Guess Who game that I played. Whatever.
The nice thing is, I don't know if you know this, but Jamie Dawes has just brought out a routine called Guess. Wow. Which is like it's a fake travel edition version of Guess Who, and he does this whole multi-phase routine. You can actually do that and then say, of course, at home I prefer to play the real Guess Who. Yeah,
it's perfect. Or you would do this before anything, just about board games, put in your pocket. Now you know exactly who they're thinking of before you begin, before the process starts. And then go into doing Jamie Dawes.
In that respect, it's a little bit like pre-show, but not.
Yes.
It's not pre-show. It's kind of...
It's like live pre-show. Yeah. You're not the first person to say that. It's because it goes so under the radar. But if you use it in a pre-show context where, like I've been to shows, obviously, magic shows, and I've overheard conversations after the show. And I think you probably have too, where somebody who has been pre-showed is talking to people after. Have you ever done that? And I was like,
yeah.
I won't name the show, but I can remember exactly the setup where it was, St. David's Hall in Cardiff. And afterwards there was a bar set in and somebody was chatting and they said, oh my God, how did they know what you were thinking? Like it was about, I won't even say what the routine was. And she said, and this woman said, I have no idea. And she was like, it was honestly, the only thing I can think of is that before the show, I wrote it down in a questionnaire and put it in an envelope, but like, you could like, it's just no way. The fact that she even knew that she wrote something down is too much for me. That's not good enough for me. If I want to perform miracles, they can't, that's not allowed to be an option. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
For example, with the horoscopes, they will swear I didn't even read my own bastard horoscope. I didn't like nothing. Like I give nothing away. I did nothing. That's what the goal is. So if I was going to do this in a pre-show, on stage, I'm 100% certain that my participant, the way I perform it, if they were grilled after the show and they were drunk and they were ready to spill secrets, they would not say that they give the information away in any way, shape, or form. The worst they could say is, well, like I read random horoscopes earlier, but not even my own one. Like it never left my mind. Like that's what they would say if I was performing it on stage. And that's what the power of this is.
Yeah. Yeah, it's killer. It's killer. It's absolutely killer. I've taken I could spend another hour talking to you about this, but I know you've got a million things to do.
3 interviews today.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to let you go, but I just need to say, Lloyd, this is absolutely brilliant. This is
so much.
This term has been overused, but I'm going to use it again because I don't care. It's a game changer. It really is. Some of the concepts and things that you've built into this, I think will be incorporated into other apps in the future. I interviewed Mark Kirstein a little while ago, and I said to him, what's the next big thing in App Magic? And I think the concept of you doing your peakless peaking and what you and Michael have put together with that.
And Stephen Leithwaite's cake principle.
And Stephen, obviously, yeah, the three of you, but how it's been incorporated into an app. And it's various different ways. It's not just the cake principle. There's other different ways of doing that as well. I can see that concept being taken and put into other apps as well.
I think it would be. I'd be sad to see it put in if it's not, with permission, but from myself or Stephen. But yeah, it is exciting, and I think good magic, good principles should be shared. At least ask Stephen and ask me if they can do it, because I think like what the two in this so far is really, really scratching the surface, because once you can wrap your head around how peakless peaking works, you could like, there's stuff that I haven't released on it yet, which takes it very, very far. Which is, it's just exciting that it can be out there. So thank you very much, man. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. I know that you've got roughly 487 projects in various stages of development with Murphy's. So I'm sure I'll be sitting down with you about another one of the Lloyd Barnes miracles that are coming out soon. But I'm going to take this back to the studio now.
Next one is a Craig Petty miracle, I believe.
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know anything about that.
I have to travel back through space and quantum physics to find out what that would be about.
Oh, Lloyd, you're absolutely amazing. Thank you for releasing the app. You are a genius, and we'll take it back to the studio and give it a review. But the quotes on the box, I think people will know what I'm going to say about it. But let's go back and dot the I's and cross the T's. So I want to say thanks very much to Lloyd Barnes for finding time to do this interview. Lloyd is a friend, and I'm going to say the same thing to you that I said to Lloyd, which is anytime I review one of your products, Lloyd, you know I'm a friend of yours, but I will be completely honest, and he's cool with that. It's important that you guys know that as well. However, having said that, like I said, the quote's on the box, the best app of all time, so I can't really create any conjecture as to, is Craig going to like it or is Craig not going to like it. I love this app. I absolutely love this app. And let me tell you why I love it. So first of all, the basic effect, which I alluded to into the interview, the basic effect is that you show your phone and you open up your photos And there's a whole bunch of pictures of cards that have been thrown all over the floor, and some of them are face up and some of them are face down. And you have them think of any playing card, and you tell them, is the card there, yes or no? And when they tell you, you scroll through to the next one and the next one and the next one, and you get to the final picture on the phone. And when you get to the final picture, it's like, is your card there? And they say no. And then what happens is there's this sudden moment of realization. Because the end sort of reveal, and the end reveal, which is incredible, is they've only just thought of a card, and they're scrolling through and telling you whether it's there or not. Yes, it's there. No, it's not there. Yeah, it's there. No, it's not there. And then they look at this end picture, and their card's not there. But then when they look at it from a distance, they realise that the cards on the table, the face-up cards are laying on top of the face-down cards. And those face-up cards spell out the card they're thinking of. So if they were thinking of a 4 of clubs, for example, they're laid out in the shape of a 4 and a C. Now, that is mind-blowing. That is absolutely mind-blowing. It really is. It is the basic effect, and this app is capable of so much more. But even just the basic effect is so super commercial. And one thing that Lloyd does in the tutorial is he says, look, before I even tell you what's going on here, open up the app and do this for yourself. Go up there, hit perform, and just scroll through, and then tell me what you see at the end. And I know from speaking to people, if they know nothing about this app, when they do that, they're like blown away. They're like, what? How's that even possible? How does that even work? So it's an incredible moment, and it's super commercial. Now, one thing that I've read about, there's two issues, not issues, but there's two things that people on the Magic Cafe have said. The one is, you can't use the spectator's phone. Well, no, you can't. But that's actually, it makes sense within the context of Cognito. There are certain apps where it makes sense to use the spectator's phone. If you're doing a Google search, Wikitest is a perfect example. Why go onto Wikipedia on your phone when they can go onto Wikipedia on their phone, right? So there's certain things where the use of a spectator's phone makes sense. But within the context of Cognito, not at all, because you're showing them pictures on your phone. At any point ever in the entire history of using a phone, have you ever wanted to show your friends a picture on your phone and you've gone, oh, let me just airdrop these over to you first and then you can have a look at them on your phone? No, they're your pictures. So it makes sense that if you're doing something with pictures within your camera roll, you would use your phone. So the fact that the spectator's phone can't be used for this is totally not an issue at all. The other thing is, one thing that I've noticed people mentioning on the Magic Cafe is people are saying, there's no justification for swiping through the pictures. You know, you take the pictures and you swipe through them and you go, oh, no, it's not there. Yes, it's there. No, it's not there. Yes, it's there. No, it's not there. No, it's not there. Boom, end reveal. There's no justification. There's lots of justification if you watch the tutorial. The tutorial is 1 hour and 20 minutes and Lloyd goes through absolutely everything. And there's a lot of justification within the actual tutorial. Having said that, I think that we have to use our own creativity a little bit as well. Like, you have to actually come up with your own ideas and your own concepts and your own presentational justification of things. Like, I don't know why, as an industry, we've become this collection of people that just have to have everything handed to us on the plate all of the time. You know, one thing that I always try to do when I get a new trick or a new idea or something is I try to change it so that it fits me and it fits my personality. And I'll give you a perfect example. So Christian Grace, who is an incredible magician, you know him from Switch 1 and Level 1 and so on and so forth. He was the first beta tester of this app. And he's been posting in the Facebook group. By the way, the Facebook group is so vibrant. He's been posting in the Facebook group. And one thing that he did, which I thought was genius, was combining Cognito with a Triumph style routine. And he actually explains what he's doing with that Triumph routine. But within the context of that Triumph routine, one thing that he says is he's always trying to improve his memory as a magician. It's really important to to be able to have a really good memory. And so one thing that he does is he'll regularly take a deck of cards, shuffle them face up and face down, and then just smush them around. And then he'll try to remember what cards are face up and face down. And then when he shows his camera roll and you can see all of these pictures, he opens up one of the pictures and he shows it and he says, look, think of a card. Is it there? 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 Try to go as quickly as possible. I want you to really rush and see if you can find your card as quickly as possible. And he's got this whole routine that justifies everything, but he's not even using the app as a reveal. He's using it in the context of presentationally to show these pictures. But at the end, he's using this as a peek. So now he puts the phone away. He's not using it as a reveal. He's using it as a peek. He's got the spectators' information. Now he goes into this really wonderful triumph that I don't want to give away, but he goes into this really wonderful triumph, which uses a traditional gimmick deck in a very unique way that allows him to eventually have just their card turnover in the middle of the deck. And it's a thought of card. So that's the example of somebody that's taken the app and come up with his own method for actually doing it and combined it with something else and so on and so forth. And that's the nice thing about Cognito. You can actually do that. Now, I'm going to quickly, the thing that I'm talking about right here is the chaos reveal. So this original basic routine, what I like to think of as the basic routine, is called the chaos reveal. So I'm going to perform this for you very quickly, just so you can see what the chaos reveal looks like. And when I do the chaos, when I've done the chaos reveal, we'll then carry on talking about the app. Okay, right, so I'm going to show you something with my phone. And this is incredible. Ryland, you've got a pretty good memory, haven't you?
Yeah.
Like, your memory is super slick.
Yeah.
Like, you memorize the deck of cards, you memorize complex algorithms to do with the Rubik's Cube. My memory is not as good as your memory, for various different reasons, one of which I'm old. So I have to do things to try and help my memory along. And one thing that I do is I take a deck of cards, I turn half the cards up, half the cards down, smush them over a table. And then what I do is I look at all the face-up cards and I try and remember which ones they are. And I've actually got some pictures in my photo album of when I've done this in the past. Press my photos for me. Very good. Now, are you thinking of a playing card? Let's see. Are you thinking of a card?
Yeah.
Let's see how good your memory is and how quick you are at spotting things. I'm going to show you a few pictures, and I just want you to tell me whether the card you're thinking of is in that picture or not.
Yeah.
And I want you to do it as quickly as you can. Let's see how fast you are. So as quickly as you can, I want you to tell me if the card that you see is there or not, okay?
Okay.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Go. Is your card there?
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Oh, you're quick.
Yeah.
You're very quick.
No.
Sure?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Wow.
No. No. No.
No, that's the last picture.
What?
That's the last picture. Do you see your card there? Do you see your card there? Do you see your card? Why don't you look at it from a bit of a distance? Have a look.
Yes. 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 Ace. Oh, what the hell? What the hell?
What the hell? Quote from Ryland Petty. What the hell? So, if you're thinking of this just as a card trick, you're absolutely missing the point, to be perfectly honest. Because there's more to this app than just a card trick. And one of the things that this app does really well is it allows you to peek information really, 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 really easily. And I talked about that with the thing that Christian was doing. He used it to peek the information of a playing card. And you could do that very easily. And think about how strong that is, by the way. You're not writing the card down. You don't even have a deck on you. You're not putting it down. You're not writing. You're not doing anything. You're literally just showing somebody some pictures. And at the end, you put your phone away. But now you've got access to that card. Well, what an incredible way to get the information on that card. And you can peek it as you just put it away. It's like a traditional peek. And you can use this app to do peaking, traditional peaking of absolutely anything. But then they've got this concept which is being created by Lloyd Barnes and Michael Murray and Stephen Leithwaite, and it's like it's called Peakless peaking, which for me is an absolute game changer, especially when you consider that it combines very, very clever input methods. Now, what I mean by input methods is how the information is being inputted into the app, or how the app is able to work out what it is that you're thinking about. And then how you're able to get that information out of the app without even touching the phone or without even looking at the phone. This is the concept of peakless peaking. So the basic chaos reveal, which I talked about, obviously the information is being inputted as you show the different photos. It's kind of swiping across, right? Which is kind of traditional for apps. But Lloyd has built in sort of timer functionality into this, which is just an incredible way of actually doing the inputs. You've got ways of inputting the information using the proximity sensors, which I think Michael Murray played a big role in, which is, again, a ridiculously, devilishly clever way of inputting that information. And then you can actually, within the app, you can reverse all of this, which doesn't make any sense until you've got the app. But it means that they can, well, let me give you an example, right? Because this is a genuine example, and this is what I mean about the power of this. So they've got this star signs thing built into it, this astrology thing, and you talk about how you've got different star sign, pictures of star signs on your phone, and each one of them has got like a little reading. And what you do is you give somebody your phone, and you tell them to think of their astrology sign, and you tell them to go through the phone and just read any of the astrology signs that aren't the one they're thinking of. So they're just going through and they're reading random astrology signs. They genuinely, there's no force here. They can read whichever ones they want to. So they're just going through, they're reading astrology signs, they're reading astrology signs, they're reading astrology signs. Then you just put the phone away. They put the phone away. You don't touch it. So they can put the phone away or put it down on the table. And immediately, you know the astrology symbol they're thinking of. Immediately. Like, think about that. Immediately. With no memorization at all. You don't need to remember anything. There's no memorization. There's no cribbing. There's no sending information through to a watch or sending information through to a partner's phone or anything like that. It's nothing like that. You literally give them these. You say there's a whole bunch of different readings for different astrology signs. Go through and read a few of them. Great. Put the phone down. I don't want to touch it. I don't go anywhere near it. This is the astrology symbol you're thinking of. Yes, it is. Oh my God. That's how clean it can look. And that effect that I've just described to you, you could do within 2 minutes of getting the app. Within 2 minutes of, no, I'm lying. Within 2 minutes of watching the tutorial. So once you've watched the tutorial and you understand the concept, and that's the problem, I think a lot of people aren't watching the tutorial all the way through. They're watching the first bit, learning about the chaos reveal, and then they're not realizing that there's a lot more you can do with this. But if you watch the tutorial all the way through, within 5 minutes of watching that tutorial, you'll be able to do that with no skill, no sleight of hand. It just works itself. And then there's other things built into the app as well. So there's lots of different concepts. There's a Marvel movies reveal, which is quite nice, or a peek, which is where you've got pictures of different DVD covers of Marvel films or movie posters of Marvel films. You tell them to think of any film from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and it can be very specific. So it can be like Iron Man 2, for example, or Spider-Man 3 or whatever. They go through and they look, and when they look and you can use this whole timer input again, and you get there's lots of different ways of doing it. But when they look, you can then take the phone back and you can peek which film they're thinking of. It's that clean. There's dates in there as well. There's a lot of stuff preloaded in there. My two favourites, in all honesty, are the reveal of the star sign and the chaos reveal. But I'll tell you the thing that excites me the most, and I mentioned this in the interview, so I'm not going to really kind of harp on about this too much, but I really like the fact that you can create your own things, your own sort of projects within Cognito. You can create whatever projects that you want to. So if you have something that you want to try and incorporate into the app, it's very user intuitive. It shows you exactly what you need to do in order to create your own concepts. Now, it'll take a little bit of time and effort on your part, but it won't, it's not anything that's difficult. And by the time you've finished, you'll have a unique thing for you and you alone that you'll be able to use. And it'll be completely unique to you. And one thing that I'm seeing in the Facebook group is people are creating these all the time and sharing them with each other. And that's one of the reasons I love Digital Force Bag so much. If you go into the Digital Force Bag Facebook page, people are constantly coming up with ideas and routines and handlings and concepts and sharing lists with people. And it's become a real community. And I think Cognito will become this community as well of Cognito users that are sharing ideas and concepts with each other that really take advantage of Cognito. And even though Lloyd and Owen have created this app, and obviously there's a lot of other people that have been involved with coming up with ideas for it as well, I honestly think that the potential for this is limitless. I think that the people that are using this will really kind of take this to the next level. I think that the best trick that uses Cognito is yet to be discovered. I really do. What else have I got to say about this? Well, actually, before I just round this up, if you want to see a performance of the astrology thing, I'm going to show you what that looks like. So I'm going to do this whole peakless peaking performance. I'm going to do a full performance of the astrology routine to Sarah behind the camera so you can see exactly what this looks like. Okay, so I'm going to try and do something with Sarah, who's sitting here behind the camera. Sarah, do you believe in astrology and that people can give you advice that will impact your life based on what your star sign is? Or do you think it's all complete and total rubbish?
I don't really have much of an opinion. I'm just not really interested in it.
I tend to find, right, that a lot of the advice is generic. You know, a lot of people, when they read these in the newspaper, they only read the one that's about them. And a lot of the time people go, oh, yes, that's right, that's right, that's right. But if you actually read all the others, the others actually apply to you as well. I think it's all very generic advice, and I think that's why they get away with it. But I'm going to prove this to you right now. I'm going to try an experiment. I have here on my phone, on my notes page, I went online, and I got some pictures of astrology readings for the different zodiac signs. And we're going to try and do something right now. What I'd like you to do is think of any zodiac sign. Now, normally if I was doing this, I'd ask you to think of yours, but obviously I know you, I know when you're born, so I know your astrology sign, you know mine. So that's not going to work at all. So instead, just think of one at random. Can you do that for me?
Yeah.
Now, what we're going to do is I'm going to show you the different readings. And what I want you to do is I want you to read the ones that aren't the zodiac sign that you're thinking of. So, for example, if you're thinking of Aries, you're gonna look at some of them that don't contain Aries. So take the phone. Mm-hmm. What I want you to do, there's the phone right there. What I'd like you to do is scroll through to the first picture that doesn't mention the star sign that you're thinking of. So scroll through to the first picture, because there's quite a few pictures on there. Scroll through to the first picture that doesn't mention your star sign. Yeah. Have you got that?
Yeah.
Pick any one of those star signs at random and read one to yourself in your head. Just very, very quickly read it. And then let me ask you a question. Does that mean anything to you? Can you relate to the advice that they're giving in there? A little bit?
Not especially, but okay.
Not especially. Okay, this isn't proving my theory. Thanks for this. I tell you what, go through to the next page. Does your star sign appear on the next page? Does your star sign appear on the next page?
No.
No. Okay. So go then have a look on that one as well, and tell me. Pick one at random, and tell me, does that actually mean anything to you, or is it just not?
Very generic.
It's very generic. I mean, that's the problem with a lot of this stuff, isn't it? It's very generic. Go through to the next page. Is your star sign on there?
Yeah.
Okay. Go to the next one then. Is your star sign on there?
No.
Okay. Pick one of those at random and read those. Does that mean anything to you, or is that once again very, 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 very generic?
Not really, yeah.
Not really. I tell you what, go to the next page. Does your star sign appear there?
No.
No, go to the next page.
That's the last.
Is that the last page? I tell you what, pick one on there and read it to me.
Try to save yourself and don't hide behind the smiles of family.
Here, you try not to hide behind the smiles of family. I think that relates to you very well. Keep going.
Or other close relationships. Make today your time to talk it out. You have emotional strength and deep sympathy that makes you a star listener.
I don't think you're a very good listener, actually, to be honest. But
Your career zone glows with confidence and charm.
is your career zone glowing with confidence and...
And your skill at thinking fast can turn slip-ups into success.
Oh, come on, you're quite good at that. You're quite good at problem solving and turning. You ought to see her behind the camera. She's got her, this is bullshit face on. Okay, so I think I've successfully proven that any advice given when you're dealing with star signs is absolute rubbish. But what is interesting is everyone has a unique star sign. Everyone has something that's unique to them. It's a little bit like a PIN code with a bank card in that you don't really know it unless you know the person. So unless I know your date of birth, I'm going to know your star sign. Outside of that, I'm not going to know anything. It's even more complicated with you, Sarah, because you picked a random star sign, something completely random, which I'm going to try and pluck out of your head. I want to imagine it right there in front of you, and I'm going to try and extract the information and tell it you. If I could tell you, that would be amazing. Think about this. You didn't write anything down. You didn't tell anybody. You haven't even looked at anything to do with your star sign that you were thinking of, to be perfectly honest. This would be impossible. I haven't even got my phone on me, but I'm going to go with Taurus. How's that for you, Sarah? Is it Taurus?
Yep.
It is. Amazing. There you go. And that is the Peakless peak for the zodiac sign. So there you go, guys. I mean, I don't know what else to say about it. It's brand new out. I think, well, I'm going to give this 100%. I mean, I can't give it anything else because it's just incredible. There's so much. I'm really super excited about coming up with my own ideas for this, my own routines with this. There's so much that you can do with this app. It's why I said it's one of the best apps ever created. It's why I gave it such high praise, because it is brilliant. It really, really is. And for those people that get it and watch just one part of the tutorial and then just look at it as a simple card trick, you're absolutely completely missing the point. There is so much more that you can do with this. There's so many more concepts that you can bring into this that will allow you to take your magic to the next level. But let's be honest, even if you just used it as a card trick, just the idea of, you know, doing this thing, coming up with a really good justification for it, putting it away, and now you know their card and you can go in any different direction. I've got to say, I do like Christian's idea of having the cards shuffled face up into face down and smushing them around, because it looks like the pictures on the app. It's a really clever idea. So yeah, I'd highly recommend it. I'd buy it if I were you. But if you do buy it, watch the tutorial all the way through. Don't be one of those people that watches the first 10 minutes, because you are missing out on a lot of information that will blow your mind as you continue to watch it. There you go. It's 100%. It's through Murphy's, so you can get it from your favourite magic dealer, whoever your favourite magic dealer is, but it is available to purchase right now at a very reasonable price as well. Like, apps are so expensive normally. This has been priced really affordably, which is wonderful to see as well. And Lloyd did that on purpose. So Lloyd Barnes, I applaud you. This is an incredible trick. It's an incredible app. The only problem that I think Lloyd is going to face now is, you know, this is his first release through Murphy's Magic, and he's set the bar so high, I don't know how he's going to be able to hit that bar moving forward, because this is just incredible. But if anyone can pull it off, I'm sure Lloyd can. Guys, let me know what you think in the comments down below. I'd love to know your thoughts. Have you got Cognito? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you want to see more videos like this, you know what you need to do. You need to like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below, and I will be back again tomorrow at 6 o'clock with a Magic Live. 6 o'clock? Yes, 6 o'clock with Magic Live, 2 o'clock with a Shorts, and I'm going to be back at 9 o'clock with a 5x5. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you again soon. My name's Craig from Magic TV. Okay, right, so we're going to do something with one of your favourite things. You are a huge fan of the MCU, aren't you?
Yeah.
Marvel Cinematic Universe. I don't know how many films there are in the MCU. There's a lot. You're not going to try and count them, are you?
Black Widow, Captain Marvel.
Don't start. Don't take too long. I want to think of an MCU film. Have you got one?
Yeah.
But really, really specific. So, for example, if you were thinking Spider-Man, you'd think Spider-Man 1 or Spider-Man 2. You'd be very specific about it. Do you understand?
Yeah.
If you're thinking of Iron Man, you'd think of Iron Man 1, 2, or 3. Avengers 1, 2, 3. You get the idea?
Yeah.
So you're thinking of an MCU film.
Yeah.
Now, I went on the internet, and on my photo, I did a photo album of all of the film posters from the MCU. Okay? And as you can see, there's a whole bunch of them there. What I want you to do is we're going to try and do something here. You're thinking of a film right now, are you?
Yeah.
Don't tell me, but is it there?
Yeah.
It is. Interesting. Is it there?
No.
No. 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 Oh, that's a picture of a dog. Random picture of a dog, but don't worry about that. So it appeared once, but that's not what this is about. This is about the film that you're thinking of.
Yeah.
What I want you to do is think about it, concentrate. I want you to imagine it right there and think of, I'm seeing the colour red. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Which could be a Spider-Man, but I don't think it's Spider-Man. It's not Spider-Man, is it? But Spider-Man has got something to do with this film. Why has Spider-Man got something to do? Has the character that's been in this film also been in the same film as Spider-Man? They're both Avengers, aren't they?
Yes.
They're both Avengers. You're thinking of an Avenger. You're actually thinking of not just any Avenger, but the guy that financed the Avengers. You are thinking of Iron Man, is that right?
Yeah.
But you're not just thinking of Iron Man. The Iron Man film you're specifically thinking about is Iron Man 1.
Yes.
Boom. There you go. Incredible.
First Iron Man film I saw. That's why. Well, the first film.
It was the first MCU film you saw, didn't it? There you go.